empty shelves and no test kits in some places, 3 days before Christmas when it's so important. Is that good enough?
No, nothing's been good enough. But look where we are. When last Christmas, we were in a situation where we had significantly fewer people vaccinated.
And as Americans gather this Christmas, we talked about the cost. Inflation at a 40-year high in the U.S.
Unemployment has come down. Gas prices have come down 10, 11 cents or so since
because I made sure
you tapped into the strategic reserve. I know that. But American families are feeling this.
They are.
And we have to acknowledge that. Inflation a 40-year high. The Fed just indicated that they might have to raise interest rates up to 3 times in the coming year just to slow things down. That sounds like Americans should be prepared for potentially more pain before this gets better.
If we don't pass Build Back Better, I think they're right. But if we do, 17 Nobel laureates in the economy said it's going to bring down inflation if we pass what I'm talking about.
I want to ask you about something I asked weeks before the election when we sat down. You said you would absolutely serve 8 years if elected. Do you plan to run for re-election?
Yes. But look, I'm a great respecter of fate. Fate has intervened in my life many, many times. If I'm in the health I'm in now, if I'm in good health, then in fact, I would run again.
And if that means a rematch against Donald Trump?
You're trying to tempt me now. Sure. Why would I not run against Donald Trump or even the nominee? That would increase the prospect of running.
We learned just before we sat down together here that Omicron has now been detected in all 50 states. And you told the American people just yesterday that we are prepared for what's coming. But 3 days before Christmas, if you look out across the country, you see it everywhere, these long lines, people waiting for hours outside in the cold just to get tested, to be reassured before they spend time with their family. I saw it in Washington today coming to the White House. If you go to the pharmacy, we hear this over and over again, empty shelves, no test kits. Is that a failure?
No, I don't think it's a failure. I think it's, you could argue that we should have known a year ago, 6 months ago, 2 months ago, a month ago. I've ordered 500 million of the pills, 500 million pills. 500 million test kits that are going to be available to be sent to every home in America if anybody wants them. But the answer is, yeah, I wish I had thought about ordering 500 million pills 2 months ago before COVID hit here.
But we're nearly 2 years into this pandemic. You're a year into the presidency. Empty shelves and no test kits in some places, 3 days before Christmas when it's so important. Is that good enough?
No, nothing's been good enough. But look where we are. When last Christmas, we were in a situation where we had significantly fewer people vaccinated. Emergency rooms were filled. You had serious backups in hospitals that were causing great difficulties.
Let me ask you about what you said on July 4th. I know you remember it well. You told the American people we're closer than ever to our independence from a deadly virus. Do you think you overpromised?
No, we were closer than ever. But there's a lot we don't know. It's like, I'm sure you're going to ask me, when's this going to end? How are we going to do this? Are we certainly going to be able to overcome the Delta virus, the virus, COVID-19?
What would you say to some Americans who might say this feels like we're chasing Omicron instead of being ahead of it, fully prepared for it?
Well, look, Omicron only really came on the scene just before Thanksgiving. We weren't talking about Omicron 6 months ago. But it's just recent. And so we are chasing Omicron. But the fact of the matter is, you're chasing whatever comes on the scene that wasn't there before. And this wasn't there this last summer, for example.
The vice president said in recent days that you didn't see Delta coming, you didn't see Omicron coming. How did you get it wrong?
How did we get it wrong? Nobody saw it coming.
I know you're going to get together with the children and the grandchildren for the holiday. How will that work? Will you all rapid test before you're together?
Yes. I'm doing it almost every day.